What's good, y'all? It's the Demouchets REACT, and we're back with another video. Who we got today, C?
Today we're back with another American reaction. So excited about this video. If you're new to us
and we're new to you,
make sure you scroll down,
hit that subscribe button,
and turn on the post notification bell
because we're on the road to 200K.
And we cannot get there without you guys, all right? Join the family. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
Let's look at the differences and also perhaps an opportunity for us to see South Africa through fresh eyes. We're joined by lecturer Dr. Sipho Tole with the two of his students who hail from the USA, Anastasia Taylor from Jackson State University and Tatiana Allen from Howard University. Ladies, good morning, Sanbonani.
Yeah, boss. Sawubona.
Minjani.
Siyaphila wena unjani?
Siyaphila. But Dr. Stella is looking so proud. Look at her.
First of all, if she wouldn't have introduced them as Americans, I would have been like, oh yeah, that's some South Africans. They really got that down pat.
Yeah.
You know, we've been trying to keep up with the greetings and things. I think we have a few.
Yeah, we got a few down pat. You know, we're not too bad off.
Right, but y'all didn't tell us nothing about yeah, boss.
Yeah, boss.
Yeah, y'all didn't tell us.
Oh, no, they did actually. Boss is
imagine
walking in the house and someone is cooking and asks for the boss. That's for like the person that's in charge.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? We talked about it. I remember. You
that's sad that I don't remember that.
Nah, you do. We actually did a video on that one. It was a few though.
Fine. How are you? Good. It's good to have you back in the country. I know that you've been in the U.S. Teaching young Americans about our own culture. Talk to us about what you've been up to.
I came to fix the GNU.
You came to fix the GNU.
I think I failed.
But talk to us about where you've been.
Yeah, I've been in the U.S. You know, I slipped out of the country on the 31st of January, early in the morning, and I was out to Howard University, where I took up a position as a lecturer in the Department of World Languages and Cultures, and I teach isiZulu and culture.
Nice.
And part of that is that the students need to contextualize the language by coming to South Africa on a study abroad program, which is funded by the U.S. government, the Department of Education, and also Howard University has got the biggest student population who study isiZulu outside of South Africa.
Come on, okay.
Which means
so you're in a good
none
spot.
of the other universities in the U.S. come anywhere close to us. We've got about 100 students.
Pause, bro. So over 100 students. That's dumping grounds for him. You know what I'm saying? Because he's like a doorway to the lingo. You know what I'm saying? As soon as they go through him, then they good to go. Like they know it. You know what I'm saying?
You know, that's our black Harvard.
Yeah. That's far for him.
That was on my list of choices, but that was kind of far for me.
Take isiZulu 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
And some universities have got 3 students or 4 or 5. So we are leading in that aspect.
This is enviable, I can imagine, in the U.S. for so many young people, right? Anastasia and Tatiana, let me start with you. Anastasia, talk to me about why it was important that you be part of the program. What is it you want to learn from South Africa? And why learn isiZulu? What difference does it make in your life?
Yeah, so, well, first of all, since I'm from Jackson State, I haven't had the benefit of taking the class under Dr. Sotole for very long. I've been here pretty briefly, but for me, I study English, and for me, studying more languages is the next logical conclusion. And it's just been really important for me to become more of a global citizen, considering that the world's issues are, nothing exists in a vacuum. And so this is just giving me that chance to get outside of my American context, which is very insular, and understand a lot more of the world. And specifically, isiZulu has been great because I'm getting that connection back to Africa as an African-American person. And then also we're seeing that connection that is real and living. So,
that's incredible. You know, Tatiana, talk to me about your first reaction when you arrived in South Africa, right? Was it your first time in Africa?
Yes, it was.
What were the expectations? Because, I think a lot of South Africans think about the U.S. and we think, oh, they're sitting there thinking that we're running around in the bush with lions, right? She just rolled her eyes, which I think is interesting. What was your expectation, and then what you saw of South Africa, what you thought of it when you arrived?
I thought it was going to be a very rich experience, and it has been, and I think also healing, to know that I come from a place where, culture is so important. it's like vested in the food and the clothing you wear and
100%.
beyond the language you speak. And I just appreciated having such an opportunity because I didn't see myself having such an opportunity until I was probably 30, you know. And I'm so grateful that my education has allowed me to do so.
Yeah.
And I think it's
Okay.
so grounded in the fact that it's different. Of course, the culture is different from where I come from, but it's so rich because you see the interactions that people have with each other. And it's knowing that you're grounding yourself in learning other people's stories beyond your own, and appreciating that. So I think for me, my expectations was knowing that I wanted to learn something more out of myself so it can bring something more out of me in return.
That's really, really interesting.
And
They
she's
say
looking at...
Love it, man.
Their responses, man, and the fact that it's funded by the government, it's funded by our educational department. I wish that all African American children, students at that age, receive this opportunity.
Not just received it, had the knowledge to know that even it exists. Because we spoke about this in the last video of recognizing the cushion that a lot of these colleges, businesses, that anything that you're getting involved in have. And if you don't see the cushion, then you kind of miss the window of, you know, having these experiences, being able to travel, being able to learn a second language like this, you know, and so forth, so forth. So yeah, I think that's a cool thing to have, you know.
Right, because there were opportunities for study abroad at my college, but nothing said Africa at all. You know, so if that was on there, maybe I would have been there.
Heard that, yeah.
Land reform, by the way,
Really?
which is her own interest outside
Your interest is, talk to me about that.
So I'm part of a program myself so it can bring something more out of me in return.
That's really, really interesting.
And
They
she's
say
looking at land reform, by the way.
Really?
Which is her own interest outside
Your interest is, talk to me about that.
So I'm part of a program at Howard called HBCU Correspondence. And we were all chosen to select a story dealing with an issue in the African diaspora, and I chose land reform and learning the history about it as far as the museums and the places we visit about apartheid, and pretty much learning the background of redistribution, restitution, and tenure, and knowing the differences between that, and why in South Africa, why hasn't there been progress, especially with the ANC, and why, you know, decades long, why people are still waiting for their claim to be checked, and 7,000 claims have not been checked yet, and people are still waiting for that sense of justice, and people are still waiting for that land that not only meant so much culturally, but in wealth and where they used to be.
I'm trying to imagine what it looks like when you come into an African country and you're hearing, you know, and you're finding out that land reform is such a big issue, that people living in South Africa their whole lives and for centuries are struggling to get access to the land. I think is really, really interesting.
Yeah, so that's the power of generation. One generation may not have that ability to change things, and they be maybe waiting for the next, you know, power structure or someone to come through and make that big adjustment. But there's always the next generation, depending upon how much knowledge you're pouring to them. Now that they're growing up, going through these courses, going through these classes, they're ready to see what they can do, how they can help and make change in these. And I love that she's doing that. I mean, having that on her mindset and being able to go out there and make those changes, or even get involved to connect and rub shoulders with people to make those changes. That's important, you know?
Yeah, and that's the power of our HBCUs too.
100%.
And that's why our HBCUs are important. Because me choosing not to go to HBCU kind of disconnected me from everything else that was going on. Because I know the HBCUs has a focus on the diaspora.
Right. The knowledge that we're missing. You know what I'm saying? The education that we're missing. Because sometimes our system is just straight one-sided.
Right.
But if you go to an HBCU, they will really pour into you more knowledge, wisdom, and just structure as a black individual in America. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's important.
Yes. Because going to a college whose focus was not us, I saw the difference.
Right. Yeah, that is true.
And
Yeah.
I've shared some of
That
the
is
problems
true.
that I went through in my college, and yeah.
Did I tell them mine? I told y'all mines. Yeah, about how they forced me to make a choice.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then my choice was just basically having to make sure my child got back and forth to school on time, and that was my only option. You know what I'm saying? That was cold, bro.
Yeah,
It was
that's
cold.
why HBCUs are important.
Yeah, I feel that 100%.
Just Chola, talk to me about how, when you introduce the students to South Africa, what's the story that you tell them? How
a
do
good
you
question.
decide what to teach them? Because there are so many great things about South Africa, and then there are the sad things about our country.
Well, of course, our focus is grounded on Zulu language and culture. So the first thing that they need to understand, who are these Zulus that we are talking about? What is their history, dating back from the formation of the Zulu nation, King Shaka, and also focusing on the wars of resistance, where the chiefs fought for their right, for the land itself, whether it's Bambata, the 1906 rebellion, whether it's the Battle of Isandlwana, 1879, and then also the language. Of course, our focus is that they should be able to communicate in a language. They should be able to go into a restaurant and order food from a menu and just speaking Zulu. They should be able to go to a doctor and say, "Ngiphethwe ikhanda elibuhlungu, liyaqaqamba," so all of that. But they've had such an amazing, this is our last stop. We started in Zululand on the 3rd, and we've just been trekking all the way. We even met the king.
Wow.
We went to all the historical sites, whether it's the graves of the greatest kings that ever lived, some of the reconstructed palaces of Isilo, Dingane, Tejwayo, and so forth. But we also then bring the political context, the social-political context of the country as a whole, so that they understand that the Zulu nation is not living in isolation. It lives within the context of the country.
Right.
And the museums, yesterday we spent an amazing time at Freedom Park yesterday, and where they got a different perspective now, because we're no longer talking about Zulus and everything. It was just about the wars of resistance, South African War, the colonial wars and all of that. They're going to come out of this country really full circle, complete. They will be able to, and I've also seen how, having been to South Africa, they are quickly able to speak the language as opposed if they are speaking it in class.
Really?
Because they want to interact, and they are even, I've heard them like voluntarily speaking to someone else in isiZulu, and people are surprised. Oh, you speak Zulu?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels good, right?
Feels
Doesn't it feel good?
Yeah,
when you
for
do?
sure.
Yeah, because there's that sense of, okay, you've got a piece of Africa that you understand, that you own, that a lot of people, I suppose, in your country really don't have. Have you gotten the clicks right? Anybody got the clicks right?
Yeah.
There we go. She's got all the 3 clicks.
Exactly.
Well done. This is so fascinating.
Yeah.
I love seeing our country through different eyes. The foods. Yesterday I was saying to Aldrin, I love biltong so much that I always wonder what happens when someone from another country tastes it for the very first time.
It's really
Because
good.
it's so magical. Foods that stand out for you.
Because it's not the same as beef jerky.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the biltong and beef jerky.
Yeah, what stood out for you? So foods. Let's talk foods.
Well, I will have to say the biltong definitely did.
I knew it.
We all went crazy over it.
Yeah.
Our chaperone, who is from South Africa, she bought us some, and so. I mean, we ended up going back for seconds for sure.
And the bunny chow, eh?
Yeah, the bunny
Did you
chow
have
was
a bunny
another.
chow? Yeah.
Yeah, it was another big favorite. I didn't get it that day that everyone else did. I had it before, but the day we were all on the bus and they had no forks, no spoons. They were just digging into the bunny chow, and everybody's continually raving.
Yeah, it's the African way. You got to lick the fingers. You got to lick the fingers. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna stop it right there, man. I thought that was pretty neat. I think it's pretty neat.
Yeah, I think it would help us to connect more with ancestry and just being understanding of how far we have come as a people.
Right, right.
People who are of African ancestry and just connecting with Africans on the continent of Africa. And not just in South Africa, but in other countries in Africa as well. I feel like this is something that I would love to see being pushed to African American students.
Right, and I think this also debunked misunderstandings. Because sometimes
that's
people
why-
have their own stereotypes and ideas based off movies or what something someone said, and they listen to it. So it's like, yeah, you kind of take all of that out, and then you get a real relationship with an individual because of how you now can speak their language. You know their history a lot more better, and I think that is the real, closing gap between a misunderstanding between two groups.
Right.
You know,
And we wouldn't have these senseless debates online.
senseless debate online.
For real. For real.
Nah, real talk.
Because growing up and being from Louisiana is country. Y'all. Countrified, okay? And we still have the remnants of our past here. And that's all over the country.
It is,
but
yeah.
I can't connect with the debates online that they have about who we are, why we shouldn't call ourselves blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, yeah.
Because of how we
100%.
were raised.
Yep.
We were raised to appreciate where our people has come from. Also appreciate what we have built here, but also appreciate where our people have come from. So I'm glad that they were able to have that experience.
Yeah. It's a good conversation. I feel like
Yeah.
we can go deeper, but,
We can.
you know.
All right, y'all. We hope you guys enjoyed this video with us. Be sure to subscribe. We'll see you soon.
Peace.